just gonna do it that way, I guess. Oh, crap. I think I just closed our TikTok. Please tell me I didn't end that stream. I was live. Alright, there we go. I'm back again. This time, everything should be ready to rock and roll. Cool deal. What is going on here? So I'll minimize this. Keep this up. And hey guys, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the thing. We're just going to be reading some...
Hello, and welcome to Pokemon 5. Hello, and welcome to Pokemon 5e. This is an online guide and tool for playing D&D in the Pokemon universe with your friends. These reference pages provide the core rules for playing the game. The only prerequisite for understanding the content on this site is that you understand the rules of Dungeons & Dragons found in its player handbook. Rules that would be found in the D&D player handbook will not be reprinted on this site, so it is recommended that you own a copy in order to get the most out of Pokemon 5e. If you're just getting started, we recommended starting with these pages. Trainer class, trainer paths, catching Pokemon, Pokemon leveling, Golba, fainting, resting, and healing. Versioning disclaimer. The precise rules found in this reference are not necessarily permanent or set in stone. As the community identifies core balance issues, the rules may be updated. Any changes that are made will be identified on the version history page. Additionally, if there are rules your group personally thinks could be better, this is a homebrew. Remix it as much as you want to make the game as fun as possible. 2018 versus 2024 rule sets. The rules to Pokemon 5 were originally published as a handbook in Monster Manual in 2018, but was eventually discontinued. The version of the rules found on this website are slightly updated from the version of the rules originally published in 2018. This is so the community can adopt new Pokemon mechanics, reduce complexity, improve balance, adapt to D&D's 2024 rules, etc. That said, if you prefer the original rules, you can use the switch found in the title of each rules page. The original rule set is called 2018 Rules, and the updated rules are called 2024 Rules. Summary of updates. The 2018 and 2024 rules are almost identical, with these notes. Loyalty levels renamed to bond levels, with simple mechanics.
I'm live.
Slightly modified DC calculation for making captures. Combat rules updated to allow for double battles. Stabs simplified, though buffed at lower levels. Pokemon Death rules added. Adapted feats to D&D 2024 rules and added a couple new feats. Updated natures table to include all actual Pokemon natures. Simplified Pokemon Experience Awards. Gave Pokemon a cool level 20 capstone feature. Added Z moves, Dynamax, and Terrestrialization. Reworked trainer specializations to match Pokemon's trainer class names and make their benefits more symmetrical. Made a sleep a volatile condition, added badly poisoned, and reworked Confused to work more like the Confusion spell.
Welcome.
Changed trainer hit dice to D6 since they are basically full casters. Added multi-classing potential. Added Epic Boon feat at level 19 in place of ASI to fit the theme of the 2024 D&D handbook. Simplified weather, so its effect is more subtle. And because the 2018 tables assumed only a specific kind of biome. Trainer path updates. Additionally, several trainer paths were tweaked. Ace Trainer. Battle dice now upgrade. Max potential tactical mastery. More general to allow ace trainers of the INT, WS, or CHA variety. Hobbyist. Skill dice now upgrade. Many faces generalist. Taking a different paths feature didn't always naturally work since paths usually build on themselves. Skill switch multi-talented. Changed. Every Pokemon has one ability, a special feature that applies to it at all times. Each species has multiple possible abilities. When rolling a Pokemon of a given species, one of its species abilities is assigned to it at random. Note that some moves or abilities can manipulate what ability a Pokemon has at a given time, such as with the Mummy ability. Unless specified, a Pokemon's normal ability is always restored to it after a long rest. Ability list. Filter abilities.
I'm going to read through.
Abilities. Between a Pokemon and the bond.
Oh my goodness.
The bond between a Pokemon and its trainer is not always stable. It can ebb and flow as the two parties interact with one another. In Pokemon 5e, the relationship between a Pokemon and its trainer moves through various bond levels. These levels each have different effects on the ability of a Pokemon, how well they listen to you, and even whether or not certain Pokemon can evolve. Bond levels. The following table describes the effects of each bond level. Bond levels. Level. Effect. +3. This Pokemon has 3 bond points. Pokemon at this level have an incredible bond with their trainer. Raising/lowering bond. Ultimately, the bond level of a Pokemon is determined by an agreement between you and the DM. Relationships are highly narrative, so there are no prescribed rules dictating when bond increases or decreases. Examples of raising bond may include spending time with a Pokemon, seeking out snack and foods that the Pokemon enjoys, winning a particularly difficult battle, and so on. Lowering bond may involve catching a Pokemon in an undeserving way, leaving a Pokemon in the PC for too long, allowing a Pokemon to faint from poison instead of healing it with antidote. Pokemon do not simply appear out of thin air. They are born into your world as babies and grow and thrive to become powerful
adult
monsters.
content.
This guide sets the stage as a simplistic form of Pokemon breeding and egg development to add variety to every species in your game. Pokemon eggs. A Pokemon egg is an object from which most Pokemon are known to hatch. An egg shell will usually have a pattern that reflects the appearance of the Pokemon developing inside. Eggs are fragile and should be kept safe. Eggs have an AC of 8 and 10 HP. When an egg drops to 0 HP, it breaks and the Pokemon inside is lost. Creating an egg. At the end of each in-game day, trainers may have 2 of their Pokemon breed in an attempt to create an egg. Breeding has the following requirements. Pokemon will only breed if they have the same trainer or if their respective trainers are in the same party. Each Pokemon must be at bond level 2 or higher. One of the Pokemon is male and the other Pokemon is female. The Pokemon share a common egg group, as noted on their stat blocks. One exception to this is Pokemon in the undiscovered egg group cannot breed. The trainer has an available poke slot open for the egg. To determine whether or not a breeding attempt was successful, a player will roll a straight D20 against a DC determined by the total bond levels of both parent Pokemon. Buffeting DC, total bond, success. When an egg is created, it begins an incubation counter to determine how long it will take for the egg to hatch. Progress against this timer may only be made if the egg is being carried by its trainer through the night or a significant portion of the prior session. A trainer will roll 1d100 plus 50 at the beginning of each in-campaign day or session and reduce the remaining counter by the result. Hatch times below are listed based on the species rating of Pokemon inside the egg. Incubators. Incubators may be available for sale, offering an artificial, self-contained habitat especially catered to keeping your egg in pristine condition while you wait for it to hatch. Once an incubator has been used, however, it loses its effectiveness for the next egg and is no better than a backpack. Each incubator allows you to reduce the hatch time counter by an additional amount at the start of each day. Incubators. Hatching. Once the hatch time for an egg reaches 0, it hatches. Use the following rules to determine what the Pokemon is in its initial kit. Species. The resulting Pokemon species is that of the female parent's lowest evolutionary form, and at its minimum found level listed in its stat block. Nature. The nature of the hatched Pokemon should be determined by a random D100 roll against the nature table. It is not affected by the breeding parents. Gender. The gender of the hatched Pokemon should be determined by a D100 roll against the gender rate in the hatched Pokemon stat block. For example, say you've hatched an EV which has a gender rate of 12.5% female
We're
and
here
87.5%
playing some
a
Pokemon
D100 roll
EV.
from 1 to 13 will result in a female EV, and a roll from 14 to 100 will result in a male EV. Moves. A bred Pokemon is unique due to the ability to inherit certain moves from its parents that it may not normally learn or learn at a later level.
Hello, everybody.
At hatching,
Nice to see you.
you may select any starting moves from the Pokemon's move list as its known moves at level 1. The following moves are immediately added to a hatched Pokemon's starting moves pool to be selected. Any egg move listed in the hatched Pokemon stat block that is known by either parent at the time of breeding. Any move known by both parents at the time of breeding, so long as it is able to be learned by the hatched Pokemon in its natural progression, excluding TMs. Ability. Flip a coin. On a heads, the hatched Pokemon inherits the female parent's ability. On a tails, its ability is randomly determined from the list of abilities on its stat block. Bond level. All hatched Pokemon begin at bond level 1. If it spent its entire incubation period in your party, then it starts at bond level 2. Example. Your trainer attempts to breed their male Alolan Raticate with their female Luxio. You've checked that both are at least bond level +2 and are in the same egg group field and have rolled high enough against the DC based on their combined bond levels. Success. Species. The resulting Pokemon will be a level 1 Shinx because Shinx is the lowest evolutionary form of the female parent, Luxio, and the minimum found level of a Shinx in the wild is 1. According to the hatch time table, this egg begins with an incubation counter of 250 due to Shinx being of species rating 1/4. Nature. Roll AD 100 to determine its nature. Gender. A Shinx appears in the wild at a 50% female slash 50% male rate, according to its stat block. Roll special caveats slash rules. There are just a few circumstances that should be noted here when considering breeding. Ditto. Ditto is a very special case of genderless Pokemon. Any Pokemon can breed with it, regardless of gender
Well, we
or
got
egg
11
group.
really interested
The
people. I'm
species
glad
of the
y'all are
hatched
hanging out with me.
Pokemon that result from breeding with a Ditto
I'm gonna
is
check
always
something out really
based
quick.
on the non-Ditto Pokemon, whether male or female. Undiscovered group. Baby and legendary Pokemon cannot breed. These are listed in the undiscovered egg group for convenience. Gendered species. Certain species of Pokemon, such as Nidoran, have specific
Nidoran, yeah.
genders that have their own
Nidorina.
stat blocks. Breeding with one may result in a Pokemon of a different species than itself. For example, a Nidoran female may produce a Nidoran female or Nidoran male egg, which should be determined with a D100 roll against the gender rate listed in its stat block. Egg groups. Amorphous. Exclusive to group. Alolan Grimer. Alolan Mook. Banette. Chandelure. Chimcho. Drifblim. Drifloon. Duosion. Dusclops. Dusknoir. Duskull.
Everybody knows this
Catching
is one of the
Pokemon.
most important and fun
Catching
things about
Pokemon
Pokemon.
is
what
crucial
we're
to your
all here
success
for.
as a trainer. There are several rules to follow when catching Pokemon. To attempt to catch a Pokemon, use the throw Pokeball action. A trainer can hold no more Pokemon than their poke slots allow. If a trainer's poke slots are full when a Pokemon is caught, the trainer must choose one Pokemon to send to their PC. A Pokeball is destroyed on a failed catch attempt. A caught Pokemon retains its level, all status effects, and current HP at the time of the catch. It is impossible for a trainer to catch a Pokemon whose level is greater than their current level. A fainted Pokemon cannot be caught. When a Pokemon is caught, a caught Pokemon is given the minimum amount of experience for that Pokemon's level start. Catching a Pokemon gives 1/5 the normal XP. Pokeballs are not the only way to catch Pokemon. There may be Pokemon in the wild that are friendly and happy to join you in your adventures. Feel free to try narratively interesting ways of forming a team. Throw Pokeball action. Time. 1 action. Range. Har means FD, hot von FD. Consumes. 1 Pokeball variant. You hurl a Pokeball at a wild Pokemon and attempt to capture it. Make an animal handling skill check. You have advantage on the throw if the Pokemon is poisoned, restrained, asleep, burning, confused, paralyzed, or frozen. If you succeed the DC, the wild Pokemon is captured. The base DC is equal to 10 plus S rounded down plus Pokemon level. Reduce the DC by 5 if the Pokemon is below half health in the yellow. And reduce being Kumba. Being a master of your Pokemon in battle is one of the most important parts of this game. Pokemon have their own set of moves, stats, and levels to gain. Combat rules are the same as in D&D 5e, with the following extensions. At the start of a battle, you make 1 initiative roll for each of your Pokemon in battle, using your Pokemon's initiative bonus. Your trainer's turn happens concurrently with their first Pokemon in the initiative order. A trainer's turn is spent either issuing commands to their Pokemon, using items, or interacting with the environment. As an action, a trainer may issue up to 2 commands, and only a single command per Pokemon. A trainer may also use their bonus action to issue up to 2 commands for moves with a move time of 1 bonus action, 1 bonus move per Pokemon. If a trainer has 3 or more Pokemon out, they may only issue commands to 2 of them, and the other Pokemon may only use their turns to move. On your turn, both your trainer and your active Pokemon have movement up to their speed. Both you and your Pokemon have 1 reaction you can use per round of battle. Move/move power. Combat rules are the same as in D&D 5e, with the following extensions. At the start of battle, you make 1 initiative roll for each of your Pokemon in battle, using your Pokemon's initiative bonus. Your trainer's turn happens concurrently with their first Pokemon in the initiative order. A trainer's turn is spent either issuing commands to their Pokemon, using items, or interacting with the environment. As an action, a trainer may issue up to 2 commands and only a single command per Pokemon. A trainer may also use their bonus action to issue up to 2 commands for moves with a move time of 1 bonus action, 1 bonus move per Pokemon. If a trainer has 3 or more Pokemon out, they may only issue commands to 2 of them, and the other Pokemon may only use their turns to move. On your turn, both your trainer and your active Pokemon have movement up to their speed. Both you and your Pokemon have 1 reaction you can use per round of battle. Move/move power. Moves in Pokemon 5e work similarly to spells in 5e D&D. Instead of a single character having a set amount of spell slots, each move has a set amount of power points, PP. PP determines how many times the move can be used, 1 used per 1 pages. Refilling PP can be done by long resting or using an item, such as Ether. Most moves have a move power, the focused ability of that move. Move powers can be any of the 6 main ability scores, and determine which ability to use for attack, damage, and saving DC. If a move specifies multiple move powers, you choose one of the move powers for calculations. Attack roll bonus equals move power mod plus professor mod. Damage bonus equals move power mod plus stab. Saving throw DC equals 8 plus move power mod plus professor mod. Pokemon are proficient in all the moves they know. Stab. Stab stands for same type attack bonus. When a Pokemon uses a move with the same type as one of its own types, it gets a stab bonus added to damage rolls. Otherwise, stab is 0. When stab applies, it is equal to the move power mod of the move. This effectively doubles the move power mod of moves of the same type as the Pokemon using it. The struggle move. When a Pokemon runs out of PP on switching Pokemon, a trainer may take the switch action to call one of their Pokemon within line of sight from up to 60 feet away and release a new Pokemon within line of sight up to 15 feet away. Changing out a Pokemon before it has fainted takes up an entire action, but changing out a Pokemon when it faints can be done immediately and out of turn as a reaction. When a Pokemon is switched in, it has to take a moment to stabilize itself after its recent reformation from pure energy. A Pokemon that has been switched cannot move nor take any actions, reactions, or bonus actions during the current turn. Switching out a Pokemon does not provoke an attack of opportunity on either the trainer or the Pokemon. When a Pokemon returns to its Pokeball, concentration ends and all move and item-based buffs and debuffs are nullified. Status effects remain in effect and pause their round duration for a sleep and confusion, but damage is not taken for poison and burn while inside the Pokeball. Attacks of opportunity.
No!
If a Pokemon leaves the melee range of another creature without using the disengage action, or when not returning to a Pokeball, the opponent may use a melee move that has a move time of 1 action immediately as a reaction, targeting the fleeing Pokemon. The move costs the normal amount of pages. Readying an action. A Pokemon can choose to use the action on their turn to ready one of their moves to use as a reaction that triggers after a set of circumstances determined by the player. In order to ready a move, the move must be selected and PP reduced. Readying a move and waiting for the perfect moment to activate it requires concentration. If concentration breaks before the trigger, the move cannot be used and the PP is lost. Version 1.8.7. Feedback. Specializations. At levels 1, 7, and 18, trainers may choose a specialization from the following list, granting them bonuses depending on the type of Pokemon they train. Specializations can be stacked for an additional +1 bonus to skill checks each time it is chosen. Options. Poke Fan. Increase your CHA by 1 to a maximum of 20. Add a +1 bonus to all skill checks made by any of your normal type Pokemon. Black Belt. You gain proficiency in athletics, or if you already had proficiency, you gain expertise. Add a +1 bonus to all skill checks made by any of your fighting type Pokemon. Bird Keeper. You gain proficiency in perception, or if you already had proficiency, you gain expertise. Add a +1 bonus to all skill checks made by any of your flying type Pokemon. Punk. You gain proficiency in sleight of hand. If you already had proficiency, you gain expertise. Add a +1 bonus to all skill checks made by any of your poison type Pokemon. Trainer class. Class features. Trainer license. Only licensed trainers are permitted to capture Pokemon, and this license identifies you as having such authorization. It also allows trainers to gain access to special services at Pokemon centers and to purchase goods at the Pokemart. Trainers can lose their license for attacking other trainers or their Pokemon, or failing to take care of their own Pokemon. Started Pokemon. A trainer must begin with any single unevolved Pokemon of species rating, SR, 1/2 or lower with the base stats in its stat block. This Pokemon starts with a nature and non-hidden ability of the player's choice. Pokédex, a handheld computer with an advanced camera and image recognition software. A trainer can use a bonus action to identify a Pokemon within 60 feet using the Pokédex's scanner. Doing so registers the Pokemon on the Pokédex and reveals the base SR and some brief facts about the species. Poke slots. A trainer's poke slots are the number of Pokemon a trainer can carry in their pack. At level 1, a trainer carries their starter and has 2 empty slots. Trainers can carry an additional Pokemon at levels 5, 10, and 15. Control upgrade. Each species of Pokemon is given its own species rating, SR. The stronger the Pokemon, the more difficult they are to control. The type of Pokemon you can control in the game depends on the level of your character, as seen in the trainer level table. Without the proper level, a Pokemon with a higher SR than allowed will refuse to leave their Pokeball or obey the trainer's orders. The maximum SR you can control increases at levels 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, and 17. Trainer's Resolve. By the time you reach 10th level, you have had your fair share of experience in difficult battles and have emerged victorious and strong. You are now immune to being frightened and may choose a second saving throw to become proficient in. Pokemon Tracker. At level 13, you have already spent countless hours in the wild, searching for Pokemon high and low. Once per long rest, you may search for Pokemon in the nearby area. You learn a list of wild Pokemon that can be found in the nearby area. Additionally, you gain expertise in animal handling. Epic Boon. You gain an Epic Boon feat or another feat of your choice for which you qualify. Boon of Fate is Trainer Paths. There are many ways and reasons to train Pokemon. At the second level, depending on your long-term goals, choose one of the following paths. List of paths. Ace Trainer. Hobbyist. Poke Mentor. Pokemon Breeder. You have a fascination with Pokemon that has led you down the path of raising them carefully to create specific improvements in their species. Beginning at level 2, when you attempt to breed 2 Pokemon, you may add your WIS modifier to the D20 roll for a successful attempt. Tender love and care. As a breeder, you have studied Pokemon eggs and know just what they need to create the perfect environment for optimal growth, no matter the species. When you reach level 5, gain advantage on all rolls that reduce the incubation counter for Pokemon egg hatching times. Good genes. Your skill as a breeder shines as people around begin to notice how much stronger your Pokemon seem to be than their typical counterparts. When you reach level 9, any Pokemon you hatch or have hatched from an egg gains 2 points to add to its abilities or spend on a feat. Enhanced diversity. You are a master of your craft, able to unlock power from Pokemon never thought possible. When you reach level 15, for any future hatch Pokemon, it may inherit a single move from one of its parents that the parent knows, even if that move is not in the child Pokemon's moveset, as long as the parent's SR is less than 15.
Alright, let's see here. I think, realistically, I want to see how the leveling works too, just because I want to make sure.
Trainer leveling. Trainers can level up in different ways depending on how your group wants to run the game. Some recommended ways include total Pokemon levels. You level up when your Pokemon level up. Milestones. Level up when hitting significant story beats. Pokédex entries. Level up when you register Pokemon into your Pokédex. When a trainer levels up, they gain benefits outlined in the table on the trainer class page. Additionally, each time a trainer levels up, they gain HP equal to a roll of their hit dice plus con, retroactive with increased con scores. The rest of this page details the different options for leveling up a trainer. By Pokemon levels. The level of a character is determined by total levels of the character's X highest level Pokemon, where X is the trainer's current number of Poke slots. The following table can be used as a guideline for PC leveling. Pokemon levels table. Trainer level. Total Pokemon. The highest level Pokemon a trainer owns do not need to be carried by that trainer in order to level up. It is important to note that Pokemon captured at a high level are typically not as strong as those caught at a lower level and trained up to that point. Capturing higher level Pokemon may be beneficial for player level changes, but a trainer with 3 recently captured Charizards is weaker than a trainer who has cared for 3 Charmanders through their evolutions. Example: Renable is currently level 4 and owns 4 Pokemon at levels 4, 4, 3,
that is
and
cool
2.
though.
She is only...
Okay. That's really cool. I really like that. Okay. Now. Justin Green. Let's see. I was raised by my mother. Here, hold on. I was raised by my mother, who is a Pokemon researcher. I'll just say she was a breeder. I was raised by my mother, who was a Pokemon breeder. She specialized in my brother grew up to be a mechanic. My brother grew up to be a mechanic, and my sister grew up to be an EMT. Oh, one of my headphones just died. That's not good. I'll be right back, guys. Well, I sure am glad modern day headphones have a mobile charging port and can freaking. Okay. I was raised by my mother, who is a Pokemon breeder. Uh, she specialized in normal Pokemon. My brother grew up to be a mechanic. And my brother. And she feels I've completed my training. Okay, I spelled that wrong. I'm gonna make sure I close that door. Here, yeah. Move. No. Okay. Uh. At uh. Okay. So here it is. I was raised by my mother, who was a Pokemon breeder. She specialized in normal type Pokemon and was a local champion, well known uh, by the locals. You know what we're gonna do here? I'm going to actually just run this through ChatGPT really quick. I'll go ahead and read it to you all first, and then I'll go through, and then I'll read it to you all though. I was raised by my mother, who was a Pokemon breeder. She specialized in normal type Pokemon and was a local champion, well known by the locals. They have high expectations for me. My brother grew up to be a mechanic. My sister grew up to be an EMT. I went into the family business of breeding Pokemon and went working with my mother. Today is finally the day she feels I've completed my training. Now at 31, I have mastered my family's techniques and am set to get my first non-family starter and set. starter Pokemon and start my own line. Okay, so all we're gonna do is have ChatGPT. Alright, so here's a polished version by ChatGPT, okay? I was raised by my mother, a skilled Pokemon breeder who specialized in normal type Pokemon. She was a local champion, well known and respected in our community, and because of her reputation, many people held high expectations for me as well. My siblings chose their own paths. My brother became a mechanic. My sister grew up to be an EMT. I followed in our mother's footsteps, entering the family business and learning the art of breeding Pokemon directly from her. Today marks a major milestone. At 31, I've finally completed my training under her guidance and mastered our family's techniques. Now our tradition dictates I am ready to receive my first non-family starter Pokemon and begin building my own champion lineage. That's actually really good. Alright, cool deal. I'm gonna put that one because that one does sound better. But it is exactly pretty much the same. Alright, we'll fix that problem really quick. Oh, oh, dang. Now let's see if that one worked. Still too large. Hmm. Okay. Oh, maybe we'll do. I think that did it. There we go. He looks pretty cool, actually. I think I can make him a little bigger now that I know what size he's supposed to be. Okay, so he can be about double the size of this one right here. Oh, we'll just do the last one then. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of, you know, doing my thing. What is that? Just X's. Hello everyone. Is there a background thing that I didn't notice? Leave her alone, Vega. Alright, these are the paths, but is that, oh, that's what I was talking about. Oh yeah.
Abilities. Every Pokemon has one ability, a special feature that applies to it at all times. Each species has multiple possible abilities. When rolling a Pokemon of a given species, one of its species' abilities is assigned to it at random. Note that some moves or abilities can manipulate what ability a Pokemon has at a given time, such as with the Mummy ability. Unless specified, a Pokemon's normal ability is always restored to it after a long rest. Ability list. Filter abilities.
Yeah,
Adaptability.
there's a lot of them.
When this Pokemon uses a move of its own type, it may roll the damage twice and choose either total. EV, Corphish, Crawdaunt, Phoeba, Porygonzet, Basculin, Skrelp.
Okay, we're not reading all that. That's not all we need. So we are looking at attributes, not abilities, attributes. I think it would be under is it a specialization? Maybe Pokefan would be the best one. I will ask. Hello. Hey, Toast. How's it going? Let's see. Just for fun. Did it just automatically generate it? Oh, did it just standardize them? Actually, now I'm curious if it's gonna keep just doing, let's do. Okay, they're all pretty standard so far. I didn't pick my nose, so I was scratching it. Okay, let's see. That's pretty cool. So actually now I'm gonna ask him, and it's on the. It's like I'm rolling up a character on Pokemon. 5e, it's just like Alright, I'm gonna go back through and we're gonna reread this. I'm gonna re-listen to it. I am gonna step in.
Trainer
drink really
class.
quick.
You want to be the very best like no one ever was? Follow these guidelines to create your Pokemon trainer. These rules are built to accommodate any 5e race. You can use this app's trainer tool to create and manage trainers and their Pokemon. Use the button below to get started. Create a trainer. For more on leveling up a trainer, see the trainer leveling page. Core traits. Primary ability. Charisma. Hit point die. D6 per trainer level. HP at level 1. 6 más con modifier. HP at higher levels. Uno de 6 más con or 4 más con. Proficiencies. Saving throws. Charisma. Skills.
Okay,
Animal handling. And choose 2 from acrobatics, athletics, insight, intimidation, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, stealth, or survival. Armor. None. Weapons. None. Tools. Pokeballs. Starting equipment. 5 Pokeballs. 1 potion. Trainer's license. Pokédex. A starter Pokemon. 1,000 Russian ruble plus 100 Russian ruble times 4d4. Multiclassing. To multiclass into trainer, you must have an ability score of at least 13 in charisma. When you gain your first level of trainer, you gain proficiency in...
Okay, first thing we're going to do is roll for some stats. I'm just going to do that in the Lucky Bastion like I always do. Oh wait, what am I doing? Hey guys, you've been watching me for quite a bit now, so check out the Lucky Bastion Discord server. If you like what I'm doing here, you might like what I like at the Lucky Bastion. We do D&D there. And I am a professional DM. Sorry, I was checking out my doggies. I got 274s in a row. I'm gonna do 4 actually. And I'm gonna take the highest 2 because I got 2 characters. 274s it is. Okay, so we're going to that means I can use I'll think about that later. Right now. I really don't like that, honestly. I don't plan on getting hit here, so No. Where's the check, though? Okay, I need the backgrounds. So I guess I'm gonna go to Beyond. Go to freaking backgrounds there. Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of these are gonna make a lot of freaking sense. Hold on. It's funny actually. Hey guys. So 1,800. Not bad. Actually, I think that's about what you get in the games. What do you got over there? You got my plants? No, you got, okay. Good girl, good girl. She likes to eat my pineapples. I have pineapple plants, and she likes to eat them. Off. Go away. Okay. Is it a boy or a girl? Is it... Oh, it doesn't have a gender. How's it going, everybody? I'm gonna pause real quick, guys. I'll be right back. I'm also gonna